This is the Analysis in Change with Nathan Williams and Neal Kieran.
Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Analysis in Chains. It's me, Neal Kieran. I'm here with my special guest. He has a master's degree in crypto. He went to the Bitcoin University and he is the mayor of Airdrop Town. And I would like to welcome you, Alain Chung.
Thank you. I'd like to promote BitConnect right now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alain.
I'm out.
So the reason why I have Alain here today is because we have a special episode on airdrops. Now, a few weeks ago, me and Nathan, we talked about airdrops and how they're the latest big thing in crypto. And myself and Alain just wanted to have a deep dive, understand more about what's going on, and look at some airdrops, give some feedback so you know what's going out there, because there's a lot of FOMO happening with airdrops. Because sometimes you hear about an airdrop that is now worth like $1,000, and you're thinking, "Oh, I wish I was a part of that." Well, the thing is, we're here to help you understand what the scene is like and tell you our experience and what we found out, and hopefully you can learn from what we did. So I'll start off with Alain. Alain, can you want to tell us of some of the airdrops you did and what you found and maybe why you even picked them?
I'll start off by talking to you about the airdrop that I was not part of. And this is usually how people in my entourage, at least, how we know about airdrops. It's like we missed out on them. And it's all a big thing, like you said, Neal. It's all about FOMO. Ontology was a big FOMO one for me. So Ontology is affiliated with Neal. We won't go into the technical details of Ontology and the company and how it affects the blockchains and everything, but we'll just talk about the free cash that was the airdrop and the free cash that we were not part of. And so Ontology, they started out with their marketing campaign in the beginning of the year, and in January you could have signed up to their mailing list, you could have signed up to their Telegram channel, and you knew that there was an airdrop coming for Neal holders. So some people were holding on to their Neal, but just a few weeks before their airdrop, and I could be wrong because I was not part of it, but these are facts reported to me afterwards. A few weeks before their airdrop, they announced that they were giving 1,000 Ontology to everyone that was signed up to their mailing list. And so this is really a small effort for someone that wanted to be part of an airdrop. And it's not nothing. 1,000 Ontology. Today, Ontology is worth like $1.30 for one coin. And so that's like $1,300 just like that we were not part of. And so this kind of experience for me is kind of scarring. And that's the big FOMO issue here. I think mentally everyone wants to be part of a free thing. And the Ontology one is really the one that taught me a lesson. So now I want in on all the airdrops.
So, I think that's something we've seen with some airdrops. It seems to come in two formats. One is where there is a known cryptocurrency, a token or coin or whatever, that if you own them already, you will end up getting this airdrop. And then the other airdrops we see out there is that if you were to type in airdrops on Google, you'll see adverts for airdrops for certain cryptocurrencies that will have an ICO in the future. So the whole point of the airdrop is to help promote the fact that they will have an ICO. They want to build up their mailing list, build up some hype, develop their network. So when the ICO does actually happen, they actually have some people to promote and, draw in to invest in their company.
Yeah, I agree, because it seems like this is the perfect kind of marketing. It's like, I'm giving you free stuff and instantly the audience is connected. Afterwards, there's always some other steps. Like every free drop or every airdrop is not really that free. Like sometimes you have to give up. You have to post things on Twitter. You got to subscribe to their Instagram, or you got to not Instagram, but their Telegram. And then you got to post things on your Facebook. For me, that's where I draw the line. It's like, you want me to post about you guys on my Facebook? It's kind of an invasion of privacy of some sort. Sometimes me as a retail investor in cryptocurrency, I don't want everyone in my Facebook to know that I'm a cryptocurrency enthusiast, because people get judged. and then I'll get questions, and then I'll have to talk about it. Like, I just don't want to talk about it. You know? And some of my colleagues are my friends on Facebook, and, you know, here in Canada, at least, like, we try to keep a line between our colleagues and our friends. And so this is sometimes too personal. I don't want to expose it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're ashamed.
Well, in this kind of market, there's a lot to be ashamed of.
But the thing is, I completely agree with you. So, like, in the last week, I participated in 2 airdrops, and I went through the exact same thing. So I looked at Essentia 1, which really caught my eye. It was hyped up a lot on Twitter, so I was naturally very, very curious. For those who are curious or wondering what Essentia is, it's like a data and interoperations for the new internet. That's how they advertise themselves. It's a decentralized data management framework. So we need a lot of that in crypto land. So obviously I was interested. I signed up, and going back to Alan's point, it really made me go off the crypto land course and back into Facebook and stuff like this. And that's something I'm not too keen on doing. So in terms of what I had to give away in terms of details, I had to give away my name. I had to sign up on Telegram, you know, say what my handle was on Telegram, so they knew that I was actually in the Telegram site. I then had to share on Facebook as well. And I'm not too keen on, as you say, giving away that data. And especially with what's happened recently with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, and how, like, you realize how vulnerable your data is. Like, I want to keep away from Twitter and social media in general at the moment. So I don't like how crypto land is making me go into the social media land or the centralized world. It's like you want to keep decentralized and centralized world separate.
It's making it real.
Yeah. But the thing was that I didn't have to go through rigorous KYC processes like I would have for some ICOs. Like, I'm having to show my driver's license, for example, or one ICO, I'm having to show a picture of me with my driver's license and the date of the picture. So you don't have to go through that for airdrops, which is great. But then you are giving away some of your, say, privacy or whatever, you know, in the centralized world. So I did Essential 1. It wasn't too bad. But what was interesting by Essential 1 was that if I were to, say, share on Twitter, share on Facebook, go on Reddit, do all these type of things, I would actually be allowed to do the ICO 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before everyone else. So it becomes another hype marketing tool. And so they want to kind of make you feel like you're getting all these freebies, but they're really just adding to their mailing list. Yeah.
I agree. Like, a lot of these things, they seem free, but they're never really free. And hype marketing, I think that's the whole game. Like, we talked about this earlier, but that's a new game. It's just a different way of marketing. Instead of promoting on Google, on Facebook, putting classic ads maybe before a YouTube video, you just get your friends to share your airdrop, and then you give them like 10 times more airdrops if you get 10 friends. So then everyone, it just goes viral. It's just like this network that's unstoppable afterwards. I think that's the strategy. Like, it's working.
But I think, like, this could be the only strategy really at the moment, because we have to remember, because of new policy changes, like advert policy changes for Google and Facebook, there are actually less options for ICOs or whatever to promote themselves. Like, I would go to very specialized airdrop websites to actually find out about airdrops. But apart from that, there's nothing that's invading me in the digital world. There's nothing that's invasive into my life. I'm having to look for these airdrops. And I think this will become a future problem for future ICOs. It's going to become much more harder to actually promote themselves. And what we also see is bounty hunting has become very, very popular as well. So you have to do all these other exercises to gain more, to gain more tokens. So some of these strategies, I think you have to be aware. You have to ask yourself, like, am I leaving the decentralized world and getting a bit too centralized, or is this a pure decentralized, say, airdrop? And I think personally, I'm going to start looking more for those type of tokens, because I think they will be more valuable going forward. Because the ones I've done, after I did the calculation, I realized, wow, I just made 40 cents. You know, that's a waste of my time. And so So sometimes when you start, you don't know how much you're getting until you've actually clicked the airdrop button. And then it's like, wow, that's underwhelming.
Yeah, ICOs in general, like a lot of times you send money to ICOs and you think it's a good project, but it's going to fail. And so that's all your money gone, or like 90% of your money gone. And so it's hard to pick these projects. And one thing that we haven't touched upon is scamming. There is so much scamming on in this ICO world and the airdrops. I think psychologically, everyone wants something that's free. And so when you see something's free, it's like, oh my God, there's going to be none of it left. So I better get on it fast. And then someone reaches out to you and says like, hey, do this, do that. Or you've seen this before. Send some Ether to this address. You have 10 lucky winners. The first 10 people, we're going to give you twice as much Ether back. You know, like this kind of airdrop scamming tactic is more and more common.
And one thing we have to, bear in mind is that, is this a phase? Because what I've noticed is that airdrops has become a lot more prominent in the down market because people are less inclined to actually put money into crypto because they're worried it's going to be devalued like by 50% in the space of a week. That's what I'm experiencing at the moment. So airdrops make sense today, but then I often wonder, like, if things were to get back to the glory days of 2017, could it be that airdrops would disappear? And maybe it's a thing that passed and, people start investing. So I'm just curious if this is just a short-term phase.
I'm curious as well. I still want in on it, though. So I think what I'm going to do is be a bit more cautious about the airdrops that I'm getting myself into. Just because my friend posted it on Facebook doesn't mean that he really believes in it or it's a good project. You'll have to do your research on your own. There's always this disclaimer, do your own research. But it's more and more true. So do your research for your ICOs and do your research for these airdrops as well, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And sometimes you're compromising yourself more than you think you are, even just by reposting it on Facebook or on Twitter or something like that. And so be careful, listeners.
Yeah, very lovely words of advice there, Alan. I love how you're so protective of our listeners.
Out for you guys.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of uneducated individuals.
Yeah,
people. And it's like I'm a tech savvy guy. Like I work in telecom. I have more computers in my house than people. Like I consider myself pretty tech savvy. But when I got into cryptocurrency, man, that was a whole other world. You have to be super tech savvy to be aware and protected, and also to know your way around cryptocurrencies. And so this is just another facet of it. A lot of people will come in, especially when cryptocurrencies are booming. A lot of people are just coming in to make profit. They don't care about the technology. They don't care about blockchain revolutions, anything like that. And so these people are not necessarily the most tech savvy, and they can be the victims, And that sucks because you're in here, you're contributing to our ecosystem, maybe not as much as we want you to, but you're still contributing with your finances, and you're getting burned. So you're out, you're going to tell your friends it sucks, and then there's going to be less money in the system. And so this is a hurdle that cryptocurrencies needs to get past. Like we need to know how to deal with our scammers, and our people need to be more educated about them. So
if we were to give one piece of advice, just based on what we're talking about here, is that if we were to partake in an airdrop, and I think probably the best way to go about it is to go along with a renowned coin, because we saw like Ethereum Classic had an airdrop recently and it shot up like crazy 30% when everything else was dropping. And so, and even the Neal one you just talked about, is that we know about these guys, and all you're doing is holding on to a token that already it works, it is not a scamming token. So I think that's the best thing to look out for, is anything related to these. Now, where you can find this information, I don't know. I'm looking around, like how can you know holding on to Neal can result in this anthology coin? I guess one way you could go about it is you could join our Slack group. Because
this is viral marketing right here.
So on our Slack group, we now have a section called Airdrops, and me and Alan will share whatever airdrops we see that we feel are actually worthwhile, and because we'll be testing them out, and we think, this is like really deviating away from what the decentralized world is all about, we won't bother posting them. And if we see anything that, hey, this is big news and it has a lot of potential, we'll start posting them there.
Yeah, I agree. And so just to segue into the next part, it's another way to get airdrops is from a fork. And so, Neal, you were talking about, holding on to some coins. Maybe you'll get some airdrops. This is another way, a fork. So the latest one that I was part of was Bitcoin Private. And so we have so many Bitcoin forks, and every time like the behavior is a bit different. I was not part, unfortunately, of some of the bigger Bitcoin forks, but Bitcoin Private, I wanted to get my piece of the pie on that one. And unfortunately, the way that they structured the airdrop is that for every Bitcoin that you hold, you get one Bitcoin Private, but every Z Classic that you get is also one Bitcoin Private. And Z Classic was worth like a lot less. It was worth, hold on, let me see, like something in the $20 for the longest time. And so you could get, this is my bad math, but like 40 times more Bitcoin Private if you bought into Z Classic before the fork. And that's exactly what happened. And so people would buy a lot of Z Classic just so that they could get in on the Bitcoin Private fork. But this is also a FOMO thing. Like, do you really believe in Bitcoin Private? Do you think that it has a future? Or are you only in it for the pump and dump? Or do you want the free airdrops? And what happened is 1 week before the airdrop, people started dumping. So people started dumping Z Classic. It went from like $196 on the highest to $28 within a few days. And so these people that were thinking, I'm going to cash in on the Z Classic to get my Bitcoin Private, they got burned. And so Bitcoin Private today is a coin. It works. I think it's worth like $3. Wait, hold on. Let me check my app. But it's really not worth that much. And so this is another way to get airdrops is through forks. But not every fork makes sense. And I think a lot of people do forks. Unfortunately, a lot of people get burned during forks for these pump and dumps. And maybe the whole point of the project was just to get people to pump, and then this project won't live afterwards. So this is another thing you got to watch out for is timing.
Buy low, sell high. It's so easy, getting timing right with price fluctuations. But you're right. It's like we saw that with Bitcoin in 2017, and probably like that is something that could have really spurred this intense rally because they had the Bitcoin Cash fork, and then we had the Bitcoin Gold fork as well. So
and then the potential SegWit 2x. That was a big pump also.
Oh yeah, because people were actually like buying futures SegWit 2x, and some people lost badly with some bets there. But funny enough, it's something we hear about less, the forking, and I think it's because some of the more prominent coins probably feel they don't need to do it. And some of them, when it comes to forking, they're a lot more careful as well because they realize it's an opportunity for someone to fork and create a coin with some value and create free money. Mm-hmm. And I think like this could be like one of the risks of crypto going forward is like, it doesn't want to fork itself to death. Because if you just keep on forking and creating new coins, some people are getting rich, but long term, it really dilutes the value of crypto. And
that's exactly what it is, actually. Yeah. You're not making free money. What you're hoping when you're making a fork is that people don't instantly take that money that you're creating and then cashing out on it. You're hoping that it goes back into the system, people buy other coins with it, and it creates this ecosystem of it, which essentially is diluting a coin. So, or diluting the entire market by introducing this whole free money in it, printing cash, basically, in the cryptocurrency world. And that's what most people are doing. Like, I don't think most people cashed out on their airdrops. I don't think they cashed out on their forks either. And it's just diluting other coins, and it's confusing new consumers. Like, I remember when I came in and like, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. Then I found out there was Bitcoin Cash. I'm like, what the hell is this Bitcoin Cash stuff? And then there was Bitcoin Gold, and then there was all these other Bitcoins. And so, it's a dilution of the brand. And you guys as early investors or people who know, I think you should invest in the project that you believe in. everyone wants a free airdrop, but you should invest in the projects you believe in as well.
Yeah, more great advice by Alain. You're on a roll today, man. So, look, we'll probably start to wrap up and leave it there because I'm sure you're all very curious about airdrops, and we don't want to hold you back from getting rich on free coins. So, any last words, Alain, on your first podcast? We're so honored to have you. There's not many people out there with your expertise in crypto.
I'm just a normal crypto investor, and I believe in the technology, but I also want to make money. Let's not lie to ourselves. And so we got to look out for each other.
Okay, so humble, so honest, Alain. I hope you'll be on the podcast more in the future. So with that, everyone, try and follow us on Slack for more details. If you have any airdrops that you like or would like us to talk about in the future, send us an email at info@analysisinchains.com. Or if you want to just chat, get some advice on your crypto projects, again, just send us an email and we'll be more than happy to help you. Alain, thank you very much for your time. This was a pleasure. Hopefully we'll do more of these in the future. Until next time, keep on hashing.
Bye, everyone.